Gertie the Goose waddled through the soft morning grass with her feathers fluffed and her head held high. She lived on Buttercup Farm, where the sun rose with a smile and the wind always smelled like hay and wildflowers. Gertie had white, fluffy feathers, an orange beak that curved just slightly at the end, and big, curious eyes that blinked twice when she was thinking very hard. Today, she was thinking very hard. You see, Gertie had just laid a fresh egg that morning, but when she peeked into her straw nest, she let out the biggest honk that ever honked on Buttercup Farm. "Oh, my feathers and fluff!" Gertie gasped. Sitting in the middle of her nest was a glistening, glowing, golden egg. It shimmered like a puddle of sunshine, smooth and round, without a single crack or speck. Gertie blinked once, then again, then again. Still golden. She gently tapped it with her beak. Tonk. It felt solid, like a pebble from the stream, but warmer. Definitely not a regular egg. "What are you?" she whispered. "Where did you come from?" Just then, her best friend Marvin the mouse popped up from under the hay bale nearby. Marvin had tiny round ears, gray fuzzy fur, and wore a tiny blue scarf that fluttered when he ran. "Gertie, why'd you honk so loud I nearly swallowed my sunflower seed?" Marvin squeaked. "Look, Marvin!" Gertie stepped aside. "Have you ever seen anything like it?" Marvin clambered up to the edge of the nest, his eyes growing wider and wider. "Wee wowie!" he whispered. "That's the shiniest egg I've ever not eaten." Gertie fluffed her wings proudly, then looked puzzled. "But what do I do with it? Is it even an egg? Will it hatch? Should I sit on it?" Before Marvin could answer, a voice floated over the fence. "Well, I'll be. Is that what I think it is?" It was Penny the pig, rolling up with straw still stuck in her ears. She waddled over and peered into the nest. "Golden egg? That must mean you're magic now, Gertie." "Magic?" Gertie blinked. "Absolutely," Penny nodded. "Everyone knows golden eggs are rare, super rare. They only come when something very special is about to happen." Gertie's beak opened wide. "But what if I break it by mistake? What if I sneeze on it? What if it rolls away into the duck pond?" Marvin patted her fluffy foot. "Don't worry, Gertie. We'll help you take care of it." Gertie nodded slowly. "All right, then. I'll sit on it, just in case it's like a real egg and needs to stay warm." So she gently settled herself over the golden egg, tucking her wings just right so no breeze could reach it. Her nest was surrounded by sunshine, friends, and a growing sense of wonder. For the rest of the morning, Buttercup Farm buzzed with curiosity. Chickens clucked and tiptoed by, trying to get a peek. Ducklings whispered to each other. Even Grumbles, the old goat, tried to climb the haystack to see what all the fuss was about. "Never seen one in all my chewing years," he grumbled. "Golden eggs. But Gertie didn't mind the attention. She sat proudly on her glowing egg, telling each visitor, "We don't know what it is yet, but it's special. I can feel it." Just before nap time, Farmer Fern came walking down the path. She wore muddy boots, a straw hat, and a kind smile that crinkled up the corners. She spotted the crowd of animals and chuckled. "What's going on over here, Everyone pointed at Gertie's nest. Farmer Fern kneeled down slowly. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at the golden egg. "Well, Gertie, you've certainly made today interesting." "Do you know what it means?" Gertie asked. Farmer Fern shrugged gently. "Sometimes special things happen when we least expect them. Maybe it's magic. Maybe it's a mystery. But one thing I know for sure." She reached out and softly touched Gertie's head. "You're the right goose to take care of it." Gertie's heart puffed with pride. Marvin scampered up beside her. "You hear that? You're the goose." Gertie fluffed her feathers and leaned down to whisper to her egg. "I don't know who you are or what you'll become, but I promise I'll take care of you." That night, as the stars blinked awake and Buttercup Farm grew quiet, Gertie curled around the golden egg, warm and snug. The moonlight danced across its smooth surface, and for just a second, Gertie thought she saw it sparkle. The next morning, Gertie stretched her wings with a little yawn hunk and peeked down at her glowing golden egg. It was still there, safe and warm in the soft straw. The golden glow hadn't faded one bit. In fact, it looked even shinier than before, like a bubble full of sunshine. Marvin the mouse had spent the night curled in a thimble-sized bed beside her nest. He rubbed his sleepy eyes and sat up. "Morning, Gertie. Any cracking? Any wiggling?" Gertie shook her head gently. "Nope, just glowing, still as still can be." Just then, a soft breeze drifted through the barn, fluttering the loose hay and tugging at Marvin's scarf. Gertie looked up. The wind sounded different. Not like its usual whoosh or rustle. This wind was whispery, like it was trying to say something. Whoo, whoo. Marvin's ears twitched. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," Gertie whispered back. "It sounds like it's calling to us." They listened closely. The wind carried a tiny whisper through the barn doors and past the rafters. Gertie leaned forward, curious. And then, ding! The golden egg made a sound. A tiny chime, like the clink of a spoon on a teacup. Marvin squeaked and did a little hop. "It made a sound! It really did!" Gertie gasped. "You heard it too?" They waited. The wind blew again, curling around the rafters and circling Gertie's nest. "Hoo! Hoo! The willow tree! The willow tree!" Gertie blinked. Did the wind just say willow tree? Marvin nodded fast. "I heard it. I really did." Before they could ask more questions, Penny the pig waddled in with bits of hay stuck to her snout. "Morning, Goosey Goose. Still got your glitter egg?" "It made a sound," Gertie told her quickly. "And the wind, Penny, the wind spoke." Penny paused mid-scratch. "The wind?" Marvin nodded. "It said, 'the willow tree.'" Penny's eyes grew round. "You mean the willow tree at the edge of the farm? The one with the twisty roots and the mushrooms underneath?" Gertie stepped up carefully and checked the egg. It's still warm, but it made a chime, and the wind said its name. Maybe the tree has something to do with the egg. Penny shuffled closer and sniffed the egg. "It does smell a little leafy this morning." The barn doors creaked open and in rolled a gust of wind even stronger than before. It whooshed around the hay bales, lifted Marvin's scarf in a swirl, and danced around the nest once more. "Ooh, go to the willow tree." Gertie flapped her wings, a little nervous. "Do you think it's a sign? Should we take the egg there?" Penny nodded firmly. "If the wind says go, I say follow it." "But I can't carry the egg far. It's heavy and I can't fly with it." Marvin straightened his scarf. "Then we build a wagon." "Or a cart," Penny added. "We'll pull it ourselves." By midday, the whole barnyard was helping. The ducklings brought tiny sticks. The chickens offered twine. Farmer Fern's old wooden wheelbarrow sat unused behind the shed, and it was just the right size. With teamwork and squeaky wheels, they gently placed the golden egg on a nest of fresh straw inside the barrow. Gertie padded around it, making sure it was snug. Marvin rode on the edge like a captain, and Penny pushed with her snout. The animals made their way past the coop, past the vegetable rows, and through the tall grass, following the whispers of the wind. It was a long walk, and the egg shimmered in the sunshine the whole way. At last, they reached the willow tree.
It stood tall and grand at the edge of the farm, with its long, droopy branches that swayed like sleepy arms. Its roots curled and twisted, forming little caves and cozy nooks in the earth. Mushrooms sprouted near its trunk like tiny brown umbrellas. Gertie stepped forward slowly. The wind quieted. The air felt still and special, like something was about to happen. "Place the egg at the roots," whispered the wind one last time. Gertie, Marvin, and Penny looked at each other. Then gently, with great care, they lifted the golden egg and placed it into the nook between the willow tree's roots. The moment the egg touched the earth, ding, ting, ting, 3 gentle chimes rang out clear and bright. The tree's leaves rustled, and a warm golden glow spread from the egg to the bark, dancing up the trunk like a ribbon of light. Gertie gasped. The egg was glowing even brighter now, and then it wiggled. "Did it just move?" Marvin yelped. "It wiggled," Penny squealed. "It's hatching!" Gertie cried. The golden egg gave a tiny shake, and then, crack! A sliver of shell broke free, sparkling like treasure. Gertie leaned in, her feathers puffing with excitement. "Oh my goodness, it's hatching!" But just as a soft golden light peeked out of the crack, the glow paused. The tree quieted. The wind stilled. And the egg stopped. Everyone froze. "What happened?" Marvin whispered. Gertie's beak trembled. "I think it's waiting." The golden egg sat in the nook beneath the willow tree, one small crack shimmering on its surface. A hush fell over the group. Gertie held her breath. Marvin stood on tiptoe. Penny's tail twitched nervously. But the egg didn't move again. The glow faded just a little, not gone, just quieter, like a candle in a breeze. "Why did it stop?" Gertie whispered, her voice barely louder than the rustling leaves. Marvin clutched the edge of her wing. "Maybe it got shy?" Penny the pig tilted her head. "Maybe it needs something?" They all leaned in and listened. The wind had stilled. No more whispers, just the soft sway of willow branches and the occasional buzz of a sleepy bee. Gertie carefully sat down beside the egg. "It cracked, just a little," she said gently, tucking her wings around herself. "It wants to hatch, but something's missing." The egg shimmered faintly in reply. "Maybe it needs warmth again?" Marvin offered. "I can sit closer," Penny said, scooting her round belly in beside Gertie. Still, the egg only shimmered quietly. No more wiggles, no more ting. The animals waited. Then, from somewhere deep in the tree's branches, a sound. Not wind, not whisper, not rustle, but a note. A single, low hum floated down from the leaves like a feather. Gertie's ears perked up. "Did you hear that?" They all looked up. A little yellow bird with a round belly and tiny blue feet stood among the branches. Its feathers were smooth and shiny, like they were dusted with dandelion fuzz. The bird blinked once, then sang again. Soft, slow, warm. Then another bird joined from a nearby branch. This one was green and round, with a little orange beak. It sang too. La, la. The golden egg flickered. A glow returned, just slightly brighter. Marvin gasped. "It likes the music!" Gertie's heart skipped. It needs a song! Penny's ears flapped with excitement. Then let's sing one! Oh, but I don't know any hatching songs, Gertie fretted. Marvin stood tall. Let's make one up! So the three friends huddled together under the tree. Gertie tapped her beak softly, Marvin tapped his tail, Penny swayed her shoulders, and the birds kept singing from above. And then Gertie began to hum. Come out to play. Marvin squeaked a rhythm. Shimmer and shine, don't sleep all day. Penny joined with a low tune. Golden egg, we're here for you. Together they sang. Hatch your way into something new. The golden egg wiggled. Crack! A second piece of shell popped off like a shiny puzzle piece. The glow swirled brighter, warm like honey in the sunshine. Keep going, Marvin cheered. They sang louder together this time. Willow wind in sunny skies, open your heart, open your eyes. Golden shell with magic deep, wake from your shining little sleep. More birds joined in now, too. Tiny singers of all colors perched along the long arms of the willow tree. Their songs layered over Gertie's like a musical quilt. The egg shimmered wildly now. The light pulsed. The crack widened. Inside, something moved. Gertie listened in. Oh, my feathers! I see something! A small golden beak poked through the cracked shell. Then a tiny webbed foot. Then, pop! The top of the egg tumbled off and out wobbled the most curious creature Buttercup Farm had ever seen. It looked a bit like a goose, but smaller, round and fluffy, with soft golden feathers that sparkled like sunbeams. Its eyes were bright as buttons. Its wings were short and stubby, and it had little swirls of silver on its cheeks. It blinked once. It wobbled. It looked up at Gertie. Then it honked. Honk! Gertie's heart nearly burst. It's a golden gosling! Marvin was dancing in circles. It's a goose baby! A golden goose baby! Penny sniffled. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in all my mud-rolling life. The gosling wobbled toward Gertie and nestled into the fluff of her wing. She wrapped herself around it carefully, cradling the warm bundle close. You came from my egg, she whispered, eyes full of wonder. But you came with a song! The willow leaves shimmered overhead and the birds sang a lullaby, soft and slow, wrapping around the new baby like a gentle hug. As the light faded into the afternoon and the sky turned pink with dreams, Gertie sat under the willow tree with her golden gosling, Marvin by her side, and Penny snoring softly nearby. No one knew exactly what the gosling would grow up to be, but one thing was certain. It had arrived with a whisper and a song. The next morning, Buttercup Farm was wide awake with excitement. Word had spread fast. Gertie's golden egg had hatched, and out came a golden gosling with twinkling feathers, a cheerful honk, and a curious wobble. Gertie named her baby Glimmer, because every time the sunlight touched her downy fluff, she sparkled just a little. Glimmer wasn't like the other goslings on the farm. She was small, round, and extra bouncy. Her little wings flapped even when she wasn't trying to fly. And when she laughed, which sounded like tiny chiming bells, flowers nearby seemed to perk up and listen. She's perfect, Gertie whispered, watching Glimmer tumble in the clover patch near the willow tree. Marvin the mouse rode proudly on Glimmer's back like a mini knight. You've got the bounciest baby on the whole farm. Penny the pig brought over a puddle of water for splashing. She's got energy like 10 ducklings and a trampoline. Glimmer honked and splashed happily, sending little rainbows into the air with each kick. But Gertie was starting to worry. Glimmer never seemed to get tired. While the ducklings took naps and the chicks snuggled in straw, Glimmer zoomed around, her fluffy feet a blur. When the other geese practiced lining up in neat waddles, Glimmer ran in circles and loop-de-loops, giggling the whole way. Even Farmer Fern noticed. "She's full of beans, that one," she chuckled as Glimmer zipped between her boots and made the hens squawk. That evening, Gertie pulled her gosling aside. "Sweetheart," she said softly, smoothing Glimmer's feathers with her wing, "why don't we slow down a bit? Take a nap, sit in the shade?" Glimmer blinked her bright button eyes. "But I don't feel sleepy. My tummy tickles and my feet want to go." Gertie sighed. "But even goslings need rest, even sparkly ones." Glimmer frowned. "But what if I miss something special?" "You won't, dear. The world will still be here when you wake." Glimmer curled beside her mama for a moment, but just as Gertie started humming a lullaby, boing! Glimmer popped up again and zipped off into the tall grass, giggling and glittering. Marvin gave Gertie an apologetic shrug. "She's got the zoomies." Penny flopped beside her. "I tried to nap a squirrel. Didn't work either." But as Glimmer dashed near the pond and startled the frogs, then bounced into the vegetable rows, something began to change. A gust of wind swirled past the willow tree. The leaves rustled, and the golden shimmer on Glimmer's feathers began to flicker. Gertie noticed it first. "Wait, she's dimming." Marvin jumped onto her wing. "Her glow! It's not as glowy." Penny gasped. "Do you think she's running out of sparkle?" Gertie stood tall, heart fluttering. No, she's just using too much too fast." Glimmer zoomed back towards them, panting. "Mama, my feet feel funny." She stumbled slightly. Her wings drooped. The twinkle on her cheeks faded to a soft yellow. "Oh, sweet feathers," Gertie murmured, catching her. Glimmer wobbled into her wing and buried her beak. "I don't feel zoomy anymore." Penny sniffled. "She's tuckered out." Marvin placed a tiny paw on her head. "She needs a big rest, a golden nap." Gertie nodded. "You've been shining so bright, my dear, but even stars need to sleep." She gathered her gosling under the willow tree, where the soft grass made a perfect cradle. The golden glow returned just a little as Glimmer nestled in, breathing slower. "Mama, will the glow go away?" Gertie kissed her forehead. "Not if you keep it safe. The glow lives inside you, but it needs quiet to grow stronger." That night, the animals made the quietest bedtime in Buttercup Farm history. The chickens didn't cluck, the ducks tiptoed, even the frogs whispered. Under the willow tree, Gertie held her baby close, humming soft songs. And as Glimmer rested, the glow returned, steady, calm, and warm like fireflies in a jar. Marvin stood guard nearby, whispering poems. Penny placed dandelion puffs all around the nest, just in case a breeze blew too hard. By moonlight, Farmer Fern came to check. She smiled at the sight. "You're a good mama, Gertie, and she's a very special gosling."
Gertie smiled sleepily, her feathers wrapped gently around Glimmer. "She's made of sunshine," she said, "but even sunshine needs the moon." By the next morning, Glimmer had fully recharged. She bounced awake with a big honk and a zoom flap, her feathers shining even brighter than before. But this time, something was different. Glimmer didn't race off in a blur. She blinked up at the sky instead. "Mama?" she asked, tilting her fluffy head. "What's it like up there?" Gertie looked up. The sky was blue and wide, with cottony clouds drifting lazily by. "It's big," she said gently, "and quiet, and a little windy, but it feels like flying through a dream." Glimmer's eyes sparkled. "I want to fly!" Marvin, who had just finished brushing his whiskers, coughed. "Fly? Already? You're barely as tall as my whisker wiggles." "But I feel like I could," Glimmer said, flapping her stubby wings. Penny waddled over, chewing on a wildflower. "Let's not rush, little sugar cloud. Even pigs don't fly till their 3rd birthday. Wait. Wait. Never mind." Gertie smiled kindly. "Flying takes time, Glimmer. You have to practice. You have to fall a little. You have to believe." Glimmer puffed up. "I believe lots." So they decided to practice. They found a soft hill near the duck pond where the grass was thick and bouncy. Farmer Fern even brought out an old picnic blanket for Glimmer to land on, just in case, she said with a wink. "All right," said Gertie, standing beside her gosling. "Stretch your wings, big and wide." Glimmer stretched. Her wings were still a little short and very fluffy. "Now flap, like this." Gertie flapped gently, lifting a bit off the ground and then settling back down. Glimmer flapped and jumped. Plop! She landed in the soft grass with a laugh. "Good," said Gertie. "Again." Marvin stood on a mushroom nearby, holding a leaf like a scorecard. 9.5 on the landing. Glimmer tried again, and again, and again. Some flaps turned into flops. Some jumps turned into rolls. But each time she got a little higher. A breeze picked up. The willow tree in the distance swayed slowly, like it was watching. And then it happened. Glimmer ran, flapped, leapt, and didn't come down right away. She hovered, just for a second. But it was a second of air. Everyone gasped. "She's flying!" Marvin shouted, spinning in circles. Penny squealed and plopped into a daisy patch. "She's in the sky!" Gertie's eyes shone with tears. She did it! Glimmer dipped and wobbled, then floated down like a golden leaf. She landed in the grass, blinking. "I flew?" she whispered. "You flew!" Everyone cheered. Glimmer giggled, glowing brighter than ever. "It tickled my belly!" Gertie nuzzled her. "I'm proud of you, my little glow feather." But just then, a gust of wind blew across the hill. Strong, fast. It spun through the trees and sent a swirl of leaves flying past the group. "Whoa!" Marvin ducked. The willow tree rustled in the distance. The golden glow on Glimmer's feathers shimmered once again, but differently. It pulsed. And then, from Glimmer's wings, a trail of sparkly pollen burst into the wind, tiny flecks of golden dust that floated like stars. Everyone froze. "What was that?" Penny asked, eyes wide. Glimmer looked at her wings. "I didn't do it on purpose." Marvin squinted. "It looks like magic?" The pollen drifted through the air and settled gently near the flowers near the hill. Within seconds, the blossoms opened wider. The petals grew brighter. Even the sleepy bee on a daffodil perked up and buzzed twice. Farmer Fern, watching from afar, whispered to herself, "Well, now that's something you don't see every day." Gertie stared at her gosling. "Sweetheart, I think you're more than just a special goose." Glimmer blinked.
I am? I think you're a gift, Gertie said softly. From the wind, from the tree, from the golden egg. Glimmer looked thoughtful. Does that mean I have to fly away? Gertie's heart tugged. No, no, little one. You don't have to go anywhere. You just have to be you. Marvin nodded. And maybe sprinkle a little of that sparkle on my garden, Marvin jumped up and down. Can you fly again? Just a little, for science. So Glimmer flapped her wings once more and took a wobbly loop around the picnic blanket. Her golden dust sparkled in her wake, landing gently on the grass, the flowers, and even Penny's snout. It tickles, Penny giggled. That evening, as the sun dipped low, casting long golden rays across Buttercup Farm, Gertie snuggled into Gertie's side under the willow tree. Do you think I'll always sparkle? She asked sleepily. Gertie kissed the top of her head. Yes, but not just on the outside. You shine from within, and that never goes away. Glimmer sighed, warm and safe. Even when I sleep? Especially when you sleep. And as the first stars blinked awake above them, Gertie smiled at the sky. Her golden egg had given her the greatest treasure of all, a gosling who made the world brighter just by being herself. The days that followed were the brightest Buttercup Farm had ever seen. Glimmer, the golden gosling, brought something special wherever she waddled. When she flapped her wings, soft sparkles danced through the air. When she honked, it sounded like a bell ringing in the morning sun. And when she laughed, flowers swayed and bees buzzed a little faster, as if the whole farm were laughing too. She wasn't just Gertie's gosling anymore. She was everyone's little wonder. Marvin the mouse built her a tiny golden flag and stuck it into a mushroom like a castle. Penny the pig gave her piggyback rides through the dandelion fields. Even the cranky goat, Grumbles, let Glimmer climb up his back. Just once, and didn't complain. Well, not too much. But Gertie stayed closest of all. She watched her gosling carefully, making sure she got her naps, her meals, and her quiet time. Because even a glowing goose needed calm moments. One morning, Glimmer sat quietly beside the willow tree, gazing at the branches. "Mama," she said, "I had a dream." Gertie settled beside her. "What kind of dream, sweetheart?" "I dreamed the tree talked to me. It said my glow could grow." She looked up, blinking her button eyes. "Do glows grow?" Gertie thought for a moment. "I think they do. When you're kind, when you rest, when you help others. That's how your glow grows strong." Glimmer tapped her wing thoughtfully. "Then I want to help someone." So they set off together. They visited the duck pond first. A little duckling was stuck in the reeds, too tangled to flap free. Glimmer reached out her wing, flutter, flutter, and golden sparkles landed gently on the reeds. The reeds loosened. The duckling swam free, blinking in surprise. "Whoa!" he said. "You sparkle!" Glimmer giggled. "Wanna play?" Next, they went to the sunflower patch. Some flowers were droopy from too little sun. Glimmer danced between the rows, and her soft sparkles landed on the leaves. The sunflowers perked up, turning toward her light. Farmer Fern watched from the gate, holding her straw hat against the breeze. Never seen anything like it. A goose who glows and grows goodness. By afternoon, Glimmer was sleepy from all her help-giving. Gertie settled her under the willow tree for a rest. Marvin brought a strawberry cap for her pillow. Penny hummed a lullaby, even though she was a little off-key. The wind blew gently through the branches, and for the first time in days, the willow tree whispered again. "You've helped the farm. Now help the sky." Gertie tilted her head. The sky? The whisper came again. "When your glow is ready, the stars will need it." Just then, Glimmer yawned and blinked up. "Mama, did the tree talk again?" Gertie nodded slowly. "It said the sky might need your glow." Glimmer's eyes widened. "The sky?" That night, the stars above Buttercup Farm twinkled more than usual. The moon rose slowly, full and soft like a scoop of ice cream. As the animals gathered for bedtime, the willow tree shimmered with golden light. Its roots glowed, its branches sparkled, and the wind swirled once more. Suddenly, a tiny light floated down from the stars. It twinkled, it shimmered, and landed gently in front of Glimmer. Everyone stared. It was a star, a real one, but small, no bigger than a snowflake, glowing gently. Glimmer stepped forward. The star pulsed, then flickered, then dimmed. "Oh," she cried softly, "it's fading." Gertie gasped. "It needs help." Glimmer didn't hesitate. She closed her eyes, took a breath, and flapped her wings. Soft golden light streamed from her feathers and drifted toward the tiny star. The star shimmered, brighter, warmer, then twinkle. It soared back up into the sky, leaving a trail like a golden ribbon. Everyone cheered. Marvin did a backflip. Penny fainted into the soft clover. Farmer Fern clapped her hands. "Well, my stars." Glimmer turned to Gertie. "I helped the sky." Gertie wrapped her wings around her gosling. "You did, my little glow feather. You really did." And from that night on, something amazing happened. Whenever a star looked sleepy, whenever a moonbeam dimmed, a soft golden sparkle would rise from Buttercup Farm, floating up from beneath the willow tree where a glowing little goose napped soundly beside her mama. Because Glimmer didn't just come from a golden egg, she came to light up the world, one flap at a time.